So this is a story mostly about hope and fucking dick. Hello everyone, my name is Hugo and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a review of the first story in Different Seasons by Stephen King. Different Seasons, if you don't know, is a collection of 4 novellas, 3 longer ones and 1 shorter one. It contains Shawshank Redemption, Apt Pupil, The Body, which is Stand By Me, and The Breathing Method. And today we're going to discuss the first one, Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption. The movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. If you've never seen that one and you don't feel like bother, like you don't want to read the story, just watch a movie. It's perfect. It's a perfect movie. So I did watch the movie first, but I'm still glad that I also read it because the book is so good. I can't decide which one is better because the movie does contain some nostalgia for me, so it weighs out a bit. I think it's around even, but the ending is different. So if you want to experience the Shawshank Redemption again, but in a different way, I really recommend this. I'm going to discuss every story in its own video because I think they're that good, so they deserve their own video. So what is Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption about? We follow Red and Andy Dufresne. Andy Dufresne is sentenced to jail time for the rest of his life for killing his wife. Andy says to Red, who is someone in prison, that he didn't do it and he's innocent. And Red says, everyone in this prison is innocent. They all say they are. Everyone except for me. Red is like the only dude that comes out, like is honest about it and is just straight up like, I'm not innocent.
I'm Andy Dufresne.
Wife-killing banker. Why'd you do it?
I didn't, since you ask.
You gonna fit right in. Everybody in here is innocent. Didn't you know that? Hey, what you in here for?
Didn't do it. Lawyer fucked me.
But Andy keeps saying, I'm innocent. But so does everyone else. Andy sees no other way than to try and break out of prison. But that will take some time. And no one can know, obviously. So this is a story about hope, but it's also a story about not giving up because Andy has so many setbacks and a lot of things happen to him in prison and also outside of prison because he got put there even though he's innocent, or so he says. And you're never really sure about that for like the most part of the book. But still, Andy does not give up and he keeps doing whatever it is he's doing, but like no one knows about it, and he like prepares to break out of prison. That's kind of the plot. So it's a story about hope and it's a story about not giving up, but it's also a story about friendship. And this book contains one of my favorite friendships of all time. The friendship between Andy and Red. They meet in prison and it's so good and their dialogue is one of the best I've ever read. And yeah, most of the time when there's like a friendship in a book or something, like it's often like mentioned, like, oh, you're my best friend, or oh, my best friend's here, or oh, my friend, and then the name or whatever. Here it's like you feel the friendship. You really feel it, especially near the ending of the book. I won't spoil anything, but there's a scene like near the ending that you really feel like these two people are like actually like really good friends, and they probably will be for the rest of their lives, right? The story gets told in, like, the narrator is Red, so Andy's best friend in prison. That is a narrator, but the main character is obviously Andy. The story is about Andy. So, but yeah, their friendship is just perfect, and that alone is like a really good reason to read it. And then it's also the fact that it's about hope, and the message it sends is also really good. The book has quite a lot of like good one-liners or advice or points about life. I don't know, but this one is like about hope. Hope is a good thing, maybe the best thing, and no good thing ever dies. So yeah, it contains a lot of things like that, and I just really recommend it, especially if you like the movie and you never read this. I really recommend it so you like experience it in a different kind of way. It's really good. I'm gonna keep this review short because it's only like 100 pages. So if you own different seasons and you never read it and you're like, I don't know what to read, I need a palate cleanser, read different seasons. It's also a really good place to start Stephen King with, I think, because it's not like he's horror, but you get kind of used to his writing style and his style of dialogue that he uses. So I think this is like a perfect starting point, actually. It's only like 100 pages. If you are a fast reader, you can read it in one day probably. So yeah, obviously I gave this 5 out of 5 stars, and it was a great start to this collection. And next week I will upload a review of Apt Pupil, which is the second story in this one. That's the longest story in this book. And yeah, I have some thoughts about that one too. So stay tuned for that one. I thank you for watching. Let me know if you read this one. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Colossal prick even managed to sound magnanimous. We sat and drank with the sun on our shoulders and felt like free men. Hell, we could have been tarring the roof of one of our own houses. We were the lords of all creation. As for Andy, he spent that break hunkered in the shade, a strange little smile on his face, watching us drink his beer.
Hey, want a cold one, Andy?
No, thanks. Gave up drinking.
You could argue he'd done it to curry favor with the guards. Or maybe make a few friends among us cons. Me, I think he did it just to feel normal again. If only for a short while.